All right, and with that, we're happy to welcome you here to the start of our program. It's Friday Night Racing at the Velodrome, and who better to bring out for the first race than the juniors? Our competitor is going to go through a quick rollout on the home straight. That's going to make sure that they are meeting our standards for the gearing ratios that they have in competition, as there are some limitations on how big their gearing can be at this age and in this group. Once they've completed that, they'll roll up to the rail, and they'll wait for the rest of their competitors to join us. And we'll get them started on this first event. Tonight, we'd like to welcome Apex Racing, our featured group for the evening. Apex is here promoting the Ballot Criterium presented by Carter Volkswagen. This is now the 26th year of this great event going on. Our thanks to Apex Racing for helping carry that tradition on. The racing is Saturday, June 8th, starting at 1:30 p.m. If you haven't ever seen a Criterium before, it's quite similar to track racing in that there's those 4 left-hand turns around a city block. Big differences, you got bikes with gears and, of course, brakes on them. A little bit longer distances on average, and it's a really great event to go check out in downtown Ballard. You can make a day of it. Get out into that beautiful part of town and then come in and watch some exciting racing. That's the Ballot Criterium going on June 8th. The first race starting at 1:30 p.m. Of course, that race also known for having equal payouts and prizes for our men and the women. There's $1,200 plus merchandise for both halves of the fields. That's pretty exciting stuff, and that'll make for fast racers to show up and really good spectating. So check it out, June 8th in Ballard. That's the Ballard Criterium presented by Apex Racing and presented by Carter Volkswagen of Seattle. Our officials just making sure everybody's ready to get started. Of course, this first race, our youngest riders showing up tonight. The juniors have a 6-lap scratch. We're about to get ready to get this thing started. This young group of riders going to be going for 6 laps of scratch racing. And now if you're kind of curious, you're saying, what's going on with these kids here? What's going on with racers in this younger age? Well, we've got young riders joining the Velodrome on a weekly basis, going on regularly on other nights of the week. They do show up, though, sometimes here on our Friday night programs. We like to feature them and remind folks. So we've got a really thriving junior community here where our young riders are showing up. We've got great support from our community, parents bringing their kids on regular training and practices here at the Velodrome with our local team, the Jerry Baker Juniors. You can tell which riders those are based on the black and blue kits. Other teams also support and sponsor young riders and help them get ready to go, and they're here competing in their own field tonight, so that's what we're going to be seeing here before us. This 6th lap just about ready to get started, and there's the sound of the whistle. The thing is now underway. 6 laps to go. We'll get a bell at 1 to go. That'll let us know that it's just about to wrap up. How's the scratch race work? That's just a race for the finish line. Nothing else to think about but speed at the right time, beat your competitors, be smart about what you know you can do, and try to time those efforts. Our group going to be getting rolling on this very first lap. Coming up next, the combined women and Cat 3 men field for their scratch race with the Ballard Criterium Preem. That's coming up next. Our young riders taking up some space on the track here. Just early on, fanning out across this racing surface is an indicator to us as spectators that they haven't really gone into full speed yet, and they're not even really into that efficient pace line. They know they've got 6 laps. They know that they're going to have to work down the lap cards a little bit here before they're going to be at top speed. So they're playing it patient, waiting it out, timing their efforts. You can see some of the front runners, some of the older juniors have worked their way to the front. They're working near the front of the field, but not to the point where they're trying to peel riders off. They're just watching each other, eyes left and right, waiting to see if one of the other juniors might make a move. Don't want to let anything get away from you. You swing past turn 2 and on the back straight, continue to use a lot of real estate, especially up high on the track, as there's a lot of patience and a lot of waiting here. First couple laps almost now in the rearview mirror, and not a whole lot of attacking, not a lot of action just yet. 6 laps is a fairly good distance, and of course the last 2 laps is where we're going to expect some things to really light up, the fireworks to start. Spranger wants to go ahead and get moving here, so Joe, up and out of the saddle in that black Jerry Baker Jr. kit's going to try to now get the pace line going. Enough of an attack actually here. He's trying to separate himself a little bit, so a nice move at 4 to go. He'll go at the 1 mile mark essentially. Brings with him 3 other young riders, taking advantage of the timing and the speed of the rest of the group. This is where some of those younger riders are going to have to go, oh man, this might be the race. Do I have to make a move now? And you could see some already trying to respond. 4 might get bigger. We'll see. At 3 to go, they're all looking around again, going, I think we did our work. We're now separated. It's a little bit easier now. We don't have to sprint against so many people. That's Wolf Fowler that slots himself at the front. He's got that yellow frame, matching the speed of the attack of Joe Spranger, who's up there with him, as well as Kaiser with the neon helmet. Ben Jurassic for Liquid Velo is the rider in the black and green to make a group of 4. That's not Henry, that's JC. I should know better. I'm surprised none of his family came running over here to correct me. Here they go, right down the middle of the track, our leaders of the race. That's Will at the front, JC's right behind him. Joe is the 3rd in line, and again, Jurassic the 4th rider. That time they saw 2 to go. We saw the chasing group trying to get back in there, and that lone chasing rider trying to get up to the lead. He's almost there. The main pack is off the back of the action right now. The top 5 positions are in front of them. And I believe that's Andrew Guthrie. I'm not certain, but I think in that sprinter's lane trying to catch back on. Ah, it's Logan. Okay. Logan Lee. Getting close. Hune's trying to cheer him on to get up there. Bell's ringing at 1 to go. It's still Fowler on the front. Nobody wants to make the move down the sprinter's lane, so they're riding to the right. That means that they're trying to wait things out. They're not committing too early. Logan's awfully close to getting up there himself. The rider in the black and the yellow down that sprinter's lane is already in sprinter mode. He's trying to catch on. Age a factor here, but he's doing an amazing effort trying to catch back on. A big sprint down the hill as Pyle is just going to pile on the effort. The neon helmet leading it out through turn 4. JC exploding out of the turn. Here it comes. We've seen this story a lot over the last couple of weeks. Jurassic on his wheel. Whoa, to the line. Oh. Looks like Ben on the inside between the 2 Jerry Baker Jr. riders. I think he'll nab it. It'll be JC 2nd. I think Joe Spranger 3rd. That's unofficial. Will Fowler with a great effort to be up in that lead group. I think we'll find 4th. And Logan maybe holding on for 5th. I might have missed it. Fantastic effort from our junior riders. That is the last of them crossing the line. Let's bring our next group up. Women and Cat 3 men, please, to the rail. Women and Cat 3 men to the rail for the scratch race with Ballot Criterium Preem on the line. That's going to come during this race. To clarify, we will hear a bell on the infield for the Preem. So we'll hear from the lap card bell for the Preem. I'll also announce it. That is for a free entry into the Ballot Criterium. Up next will be the Cat 1-2 men for their scratch race with 2 Preems to the Ballot Criterium. That's coming up next. Followed by the Marymore Crawl, everybody's favorite race. That's right, we are streaming live action on social media. You can check it out on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. And if you're tuning in right now, we thank you for viewing. Be sure to give us a thumbs up. Or maybe not. If you have some comments and some suggestions to give us, you can certainly do so. Easiest way to find contact information for our board and for those that are responsible for all the things here at the Velodrome is to go to our website, velodrome.org, home of everything related to the Jerry Baker Memorial Velodrome. All right, and off we go. Again, our thanks to Apex Racing Team for their support in helping make tonight a little bit more interesting. We've got preems to the Ballot Criterium, June 8th. Ballot Criterium happening, you guessed it, in Ballard, region of Seattle. A nice, beautiful downtown venue going around the city blocks, about a half-mile course. An exciting venue and a historic site, basically, by now. It's 26 straight years of running that wonderful race. You don't want to miss it. We're going to be giving out one preem at a lap that we know when it's going to happen. The riders don't. There's going to be a bell mid-race, and the only folks that know, a couple of our staff here, everybody else is up to guessing when that might happen. The first rider across the line on that lap will get free registration to participate in the Ballot Criterium. The next bell you'll hear will be at 1 to go to figure out who the winner is. This is another scratch race, 12-lap event. Our winner found out at the end of it all. And that whistle signals the start of it. And it looks like it'll be Bryn Ward for Single Malt going to roll things up comfortably down in that sprinter's lane and get this group going. Now, I say women and men combined field. It's also worth mentioning we have a couple of under 18 riders in there, too. So, really, this is a pretty mixed group. We've got some juniors showing up as well. And in this case, I think they're all represented by the colors of our team here at the Jerry Baker Memorial Velodrome. That's that black and blue. Otherwise, we've got this combined field. A few less competitors than we get on an average Friday night in both of these fields as of late. So we'll call it a blip. And we got one Liquid Velo junior in the mix as well. It looks like Isaac Jurassic out there. So 4 juniors, I think, in the field. Early on, a nice, comfortable pace, enough speed to force folks to find a spot in the lineup, but nothing to peel riders off in the early laps. I was mentioning it just a moment ago, our website, velodrome.org. If you haven't gone there recently, especially for our athletes looking for resources or information, you can go to the Racer Central area, velodrome.org. Maybe you're out in the community here tonight and wondering how you yourself can try out track racing and wondering what that barrier of entry is. It's actually not too big. It's a fairly low barrier. All you have to do is go to velodrome.org and find an adult class that works for your schedule. Pay the $50 registration, which will get you not only 4 hours of track time instructed, as well as access to a track bike. It'll get you a absolute fast pass into our racing programs by getting you on our beginning Thursday night racing. So pretty easy to get started. Again, you can just go to velodrome.org, check out our classes offerings page, and you'll be able to browse a date that might work for you this summer. Register at the comfort of your desk at home. Show up with your learning mind ready to go. And then if you have a set of maybe pedals and shoes that you use already, you can bring those. We'll get those hooked up into one of our track bikes, a helmet, of course. And we'll provide the bike and the instruction you need so that you can start racing and riding on here at the Velodrome. Class is also available for juniors. You can find all of it at our website. 8 to go. So now we see this regular tempo is set in, and the signal for that is this pretty long single file formation. It's enough effort from the riders at the front that everybody needs to get into the line. Try to find a place to hide, not use any more effort than they need to. You only start with so much power at the beginning of the race. Any wasted effort, something that doesn't go towards your benefit, is not good use of that energy. So getting into the lineup, trying to find someone to be behind, that helps break the wind, helps you kind of get through that energy that you need, carries you along. And anybody who's been on a ride before knows what I'm talking about. You get a lot of help by slotting in behind somebody in front of you. Riders taking their turns and expecting somewhere in this race that there's that preem, but other than that, they're really thinking down to the most important prize of all is try to come at the front of the race at the end of the scratch. Bit of a bunch up here coming out of turn 4, and the bells ring, and that's for preem. Apex Racing giving us a free registration for Ballot Criterium. Kevin Stone O'Brien for Agencia Racing was planning on going. He'd like a free registration. Why not? Oh, I mentioned him earlier. There, he was waiting for this race. And then for this moment, it's Henry Kaiser trying to chase him down. Stone O'Brien down the back straight. Kaiser's got a good turn of speed, trying to accelerate up to him. The junior's got a nice turn here. He's found the back wheel. Now he has to find a little bit more speed around at the last moment. He'll try to time the sprint over the right inside. Here comes Kaiser in the blue helmet. Oh, the registration will go for the junior, I believe. Look at that. Oh. Henry. And look at this. He had two choices in that moment. Now, you can imagine, put yourself on that bike for a moment. You just put in this big effort. You came swinging up over the right-hand side of someone. Big sprint. You have two choices in that exact moment. Do I slow up and wait for someone else to come join me, or do I keep rolling now that I got this big gap opened up? Henry had a moment of hesitation. Now he's back on the pedals, and he's looking down. He knows where the work is. Down in those pedals. Is he going to keep rolling with it? So the junior is just going to go, and let's see what happens. That's easy to get behind, as Kaiser's now going to get out in front of this field. He's got a nice opening. Can he make something of it? Carson Hedrick in the sort of gray-colored kit there at the front of the field is now in chase mode. So Kaiser cannot rest on his laurels. This is a big, gutsy effort by the young rider. Will it pay off? He's trying to go for a top finish here, folks. 3 to go. Kaiser's in a good spot. He's starting to feel like there's a little bit of pressure here. Will this effort pay off? Hedrick's on the move. He's done a pretty good lap here, an effort worth, and Henry's already recognizing that this may not be the best move. So good on him for recognizing not worth putting in any more effort at this point. Let's slot back into the group and recover before the next big sprint. So the preem sprint leads some excitement for Junior. He sits up after a couple laps of effort, and the field does catch. They do some work to catch him. You can't forget the field had to work to get back up there, so that is effort spent on the part of those riders too. At 2 to go, we've got ourselves basically all back together again. Anybody's race. You can see our field riding above the blue line. That is a lack of commitment for the top speed as everybody's leaving over that avenue down into the short lane. Just like on the road, you want to go fast, you turn into that left side of the road. Same thing here. Pass on the left. Right now, we're still sitting high and coming into the end of it. This is now the preparation for the big sprint. Is the next thing they're about to hear in a few moments is the bell. Everybody's setting themselves up. 1 to go. It's 1 to go. Bell's ringing at 1 to go. Aiden McClinton in the white and red is the one who makes the big jump. McClinton's in a great spot, but he's being chased down by someone in the hunt. Hune trying to find the turn of speed he needs to catch back on. It's still McClinton on the front. Look at Hune still finding some extra turn through turns 3 and 4. He's got a nice acceleration here. Hune coming out of the turn, and he's just going to roll for it. McClinton with a big attack will still find second place out of the field. And I believe it'll be Hedrick there in the gray kit finding the third place finish. Broadmark Capital rider Hune will take it. And the track is open. Let's bring up our next group. Cat 1, 2 men, please. You're invited to come to the rail for your scratch with preems. There will be 2. Both bells will come from the infield. We'll talk about that in a sec. I smell the grill, folks. Jessica's Unique Bites is open. If you're getting hungry, come on over and put in your order. They're here hanging out with us the last couple of weeks, and I'll tell you what, it's the best French fries out of a food truck I've ever had. Come on over and try them out yourself. Jessica's Unique Bites here all night long to help fill our needs. All right, for those of us here in attendance, we heard the officials going over that again. There are 2 preems in this race. Both will come from the infield. The racers do not know when those will be. What are they for? They're for the free registration into the Ballot Criterium on June 8th. They can bring along their certificate and sign up for racing that day. Oh, looks like we might have a bit of a mechanical issue as it might be Pete's going to roll out to the left and get himself reset. They're still in the neutral, so we might be able to get him time to fix it if possible. We'll see how that develops. Those 2 preems will go out to leaders on the special laps. We'll notify the riders that they're sprinting for those preems at the sound of the bell. The next lap, the leader will get it. Sounds like Pete's got a flat tire. If they were able to fix it fast enough, we might be able to get him back in. All right, he's out for this one, it sounds like. Okay. They're giving him one more time around. We're just making sure we got the right information. So one more time around in the neutral. Next time around, hopefully we'll see where we're at and maybe get this thing started. It's a 16-lap scratch, so you saw the race twice before already. It's the same rules. Just get to that finish line fastest. But when you got 23 starters, now make it 22. 22 starters in this field, things are going to look a little bit different than the last couple groups. We've got our most experienced riders out here and some of the fastest in the Pacific Northwest, and they showed up in great numbers tonight. We got a good-sized field. Lots of opportunities for riders to ride it in different styles, different types of methods that they can go to try to get the big prize tonight. Looks like we're going to be starting with 22 as there's no chance to get our competitor Pete Bachman back in the group, so our riders kind of getting together. We'll be just about ready to start them off. The official gave him the go-ahead. Let's get this thing going. It's now racing for 16 laps. Card showing 16 to go. Fountain Cycling Guild in that dark green colored jersey leading the lap there. It's David Richter, the rider that took that first lap out of the way. Lots of different riders and different teams. Those team sponsorships help riders get together and share resources and help each other develop. They get on rides with one another. Oftentimes they'll find some sponsorship support that helps making racing a little bit more affordable. That's what all those different jerseys are there for. You don't need a team to start racing. That's not part of the rules for getting into the sport. But many of these riders, as you'll see tonight, pretty much all of them have found a home on one of these teams as they've continued to show up every single week to compete here at the track. Our featured team tonight, Apex Racing, showing up not only on this night but often here at the Velodrome. Tonight we thank them for their support and sponsorship for the preems that we've got going out to these fields. And of course, Apex Racing not only helping support riders in their endeavors by helping them participate on their team, but also by hosting the Ballot Criterium next weekend. So across the track, we see our field fairly spread out, but this is at a pace where you can see the back end is kind of bunched up. So this is moderate speed right now as riders taking their turns, just keeping that drive going, but not enough to put pressure on the back end. So riders are still able to fan out, hang out in the field. Everybody's got plenty of oxygen in the system. The muscles are getting warmed up. But these riders have plenty of effort and plenty of speed left to go. Fred Walker for Audi Racing, the lone member of that team that likes to hang with the trackies on a weekly basis, will put on an effort on this lap. In fact, enough so that he will start to feel a little bit of a gap here. Putting off enough pressure into the bike that he's now got a small gap, and he's trying to make the field respond to them. Now you see a formation that looks a little bit more like the group's moving along. As they start to spread out, riders finding their place at 11 to go. It's still Walker on the front with Leigh Thurgood Running for 10 speed, trying to bring it back in, and he'll do so. As he brings him back in, Brett Walker will swing way high and then swing back down into a position in the field where he can hopefully get on someone's wheel. Sometimes a little easier said than done, especially on our big track, to be able to do those kind of swinging around maneuvers. There's a preem. Leader of the lap gets the registration paid for the Ballot Criterium. Winner of the next lap gets the Ballot Criterium registration. A couple riders looking around saying, who's the one that's going to go for it? Somebody who's going to show up at the race, maybe. I think that might be Richter going to go for it. He's looking around wondering if anybody else is challenging. He's smart enough to check before just putting in all his effort here. Apex Racing says, here you go, sir. The Rocket has got himself a free entry. And still Richter on the front. He sees 8 to go. Bounce Cycling Guild represented there. The team in the green. One of our new squads coming into 2019. Is still off the front, though the effort not looking like it's going to be able to hold off the pack for too long, as they're starting to now feel the pressure themselves, the need to get up there and close this gap down quickly. What's with the neon jerseys out here? We've got a leaders jerseys series going on. The riders with the most number of points are wearing those 513 leaders jerseys, and they're bright yellow to let them stand out. That's Stephen Wilson's, having done a good effort last week that found himself at the top of the pack of this Cat 1-2's field. The amount of points he got by his finishing places, we're going to keep track of those all season long. So the early leader in this season, Wilson's, does the work to catch. We'll see what happens at the end of tonight. He was very impressive last Friday night. Will he still have the jersey at the end of tonight, or will we have to retire it and give it to somebody else? We'll wait and see. You'll notice in your program, if you got a copy of it, the points race has a little star by it. That's in reference to the double points offered in that event for the overall Omnium, the featured race of the night. Bell's ringing for another Ballot Criterium registration at 5 to go. 5 to go. We got another crit preem coming out. A preem for the Criterium. Of course, Bounce Cycling needs to get 2 riders in this race. You can't just have Richter on his own. So Brandon Russell is going to try to make the move for it. And Dyna Racing's thinking about it. Russell coming out of turn 4 is on pace to find the preem and looks over the shoulder. This might be an invitation to try something. So Russell will find it. Gets himself in for a great weekend of racing next week, as Russell now says, well, what about today? I'm not thinking about that race right now. I'm thinking about this one. I've got myself a bit of a gap here. Unlike his teammate, a bit of a sprint specialist, especially in these pack sprints. Russell's got some muscle here to roll the distance, an endurance specialist in some ways on this track. He's got a nice opening and a really good tempo here. This might be a good challenge for the rest of the group to catch back up on. The laps are counting down quickly, as Russell's going to be seeing 2 to go. So in just about 400 meters per lap, right now we're looking at 800 meters or so left for this pack to catch back on. Can Russell hold on? Brandon Russell on a solo effort here at 2 to go. 2 to go for Russell. Oh, the pack's kind of getting a little bit chippy here. Not sure who's going to do the work. The trouble for Russell is there are some extraordinarily fast finishers in this field, and you will be surprised how quickly they can close this gap down. And it is not anywhere in safe territory yet for Russell. You can actually see he's starting to slow down that effort a little bit. This is like they are smelling the blood in the water now, as Baker will accelerate, brings with him 4. Whoa, here we go. 1 to go. Andy Baker takes 3 riders with him. Carlberg is the rider number 2 in that second in the lineup. It's Pekka Jaska and Kenny Williams also in the mix as Carlberg has just got a beautiful 300-meter effort ahead of him, and here he goes. Can anybody challenge Carlberg from Pyatt Broadmark Racing? And here he comes, just exploding out of the turn. A nice attack out of the field. Carlberg, Williams, and Baker. 1, 2, and 3. Up next is everybody's favorite. We're going to be calling up the crawl here in just a sec. Want to make sure our Cat 1-2 riders are also aware and ready for that event. Don't forget, the winner of the crawl gets to get in to the Ballard Crit as well. Whoa. That's pretty cool. So all the crawl competitors, we're going to invite you to head over to turn 4. Not only will you get registration for that race, there is a $15 cash prize still for the winner. 10 for second, 5 for third, so a little extra love for the Marymore Crawl.
Are you afraid of the dark? Are you scared? I am you.
So what's this thing all about? The Marymore Crawl, invented right here in Marymore Park, is the slowest lap in track racing. We're going to give them the signal to start. Until we ring the bell, riders can't cross the finish line at all. And here's the tricky part. They can't even put their foot down. They can't lean on anything. They can't use any help or support to stay upright. They must stay behind the finish line and on the racing surface until the bell rings, which can be a couple minutes. They don't know exactly how long that's going to go for. So they've got to be patient, use a lot of back pressure on the bike, try to keep themselves upright. Once the bell rings, it's a 1-lap race. So if they can survive the first little bit, they have qualified for a 1-lap sprint. Winner of the event will get entry covered into the Ballot Criterium, as well as a $15 cash prize. Second place will get up $10, and third place gets $5. The slowest, these riders will go all night long. They're going to just show us what it looks like here on the home straight here in a moment. We're just making sure all of our crawl competitors have checked in along turn 4. A couple of years ago, we noticed it got really big over across on the other side of the Atlantic. Our friends especially in Great Britain and across the way, really liked this race, but they didn't know where it was from. They kind of just called it the longest lap, and they forgot to mention us. So we kind of launched our own efforts to remind folks, hey, this is a race from here in Redmond, Washington. We came up with it. We've been doing it for years. It's the Marymore Crawl. So we like to do this one frequently. We're about ready to get this thing started. The slowest lap, the longest lap, the Marymore Crawl. Open to all competitors, just about ready to start. Off they go. I see already a couple of dollar bills trying to encourage folks to move forward. And who better to encourage than a junior with a dollar bill? Oh, look at this. Rachel's just like, no. Further down. Come on up. Let's just get you right up to the abort the mission. Abort. JC's like, I don't know why I trusted you. Never again. He knows better. The vision sign, he's like, that's the end of it. If you go all the way to the vision, you're in trouble. You can see this big old group here already trying to figure out what part of the track they're going to be on. And Christian Miller, that was a very fast exit. There's a couple of riders already going to abort the mission. They'll start, but realize they don't got what they need right now to do this. Many of our competitors just finished a big effort there at the end of that scratch race. This has become a junior's favorite. So you can see a large number of the riders from the Jerry Baker Juniors team who sort of wear this badge as a pride of honor for themselves, a bit of something that they take a lot of pride in, I should say. Whoa. That might be the best version of a... Oh, yeah, that's over. Shimada just barely crossing the line. Looks like Caleb, one of our juniors, getting pretty close to the line. Andy Baker right up here at front for Pied Broadmark Racing. Eric Waterman for Dyna Racing is still in the mix here. Next to him is Carl Berg, our winner of the last race. Looking like he's fresh enough to do the track stand here. You're doing a lot of work there holding that bill up at the end of the bike pump. Waterman's going to come right up to that lead position. Ah, not enough. He was going to have to back out of that one. Dyna Racing will exit. So now I see Brett Walker a little bit ways back. Carl Berg and Baker make up some of our adult competitors. Will Fowler now coming up with his fancy green and yellow frame. No, he's done. All through. Couple of our junior competitors still in the mix. And, oh, Andy's going to have to abort. Watching the clock. They have no idea how long it's going to be before the bell's ringing. Whoa. Liquid Velo playing on the line. Oh, hoping for the bell. Hey, there it is. We made it. 3 juniors make it in. As it looks like it's going to be JC able to get that smaller gearing up to top speed real quick. The first 200 meters, the juniors have the advantage. Then comes in the bigger gearing of the big guys. Can they get back on? Here comes Carlberg and Walker trying to catch back on. Trying to find the first place finish here in the crawl. It's Carlberg coming out of the turn, trying to overtake. Walker sprinting for the finish. Whoa! Yeah, I'm not sure. Carlberg was trying to time it and not spend too much, I think, on it, but Brett, with a good turn of speed, might have gotten it. I'm going to wait on the official call on there. Our juniors can come on up to the rail. The track is clear. Junior competitors to the rail. Looks like we're still confirming our winner from the last one. I'll be sure to announce when I know. Coming up to the track now, the juniors for their points race. We'll let the officials get this one started. On deck, the combined women's and Cat 3 men's field for their winning out. Tonight's going to be kind of a leisurely quick night as we combine a field together. So we've got a combined field tonight. They are on deck. All right, so just confirm. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't announcing wrong information. It will be the rider in red that gets it at that last race. So Walker will get the free registration for the Criterium and the $15 payout on the crawl. And that will be actually the last of our Criterium Preems for tonight. Again, our thanks to Apex Racing out of Seattle for helping us make tonight more fun, more interesting. If you hadn't heard of the Ballot Criterium, it's one of the best crits to watch in Washington. You should definitely go check it out next weekend. They've already helped tonight by giving away 4 free racer entries. The least you can do is put it on your calendar and see if you can make it over to Ballard. It's a good part of town and a beautiful race now in its 26th year. Racing going on from 1:30 well into the evening at that wonderful site. Again, our thanks to Apex Racing for helping make tonight a success. And you can see their wonderful logo on our live stream, the pink rhino of Apex Racing blazing across our screens there. The whistle is blown, and off we go for this points race. How does this thing go? Well, a points race, if you haven't watched them before, we're going to give out points on special laps as designated by the format. In this case, it says a 4x3. That means there's going to be 4 times that they go for it every 3 laps. So it's going to happen pretty frequently. There's going to be 4 sprints for points, and they're only separated by 3 laps, and that means it's a 12-lap event in total. On those sprint laps, the first rider across the line will pick up 5 points. The second rider will get 3. The third rider will get 2. And the fourth rider will get 1. That's 5, 3, 2, and 1 to the leaders on those points laps. The last lap is doubled up. The leaders on the last lap get 10, 6, 4, and 2. Riders with the most number of points at the end of all this thing will be the winner. Any ties that are left at the end, let's say 2 riders come across the line with the same number of points, will break the tie based on how they cross the line on the final sprint. Next time around, I believe we'll be hearing that bell for their first sprint of 4. The Jerry Baker Jr.'s team is now an effort of the Merrimore Velodrome Association to help support young riders in the Pacific Northwest. You're a youngster in your family, maybe someone you know in your neighborhood, needs something to do this summer. They can sign up for one of our week-long camps to start racing as a young rider here at the Velodrome. Know somebody who's already racing a bike and needs some more support? Our junior team can be registered for online at the website, velodrome.org, and they'll get all the resources we can give them here at the track to support them. That's a bell for the first sprint. Who wants the early lead? Joe Spranger can't help a good sprint at the bell sound. He's going to go ahead and make the attack himself as that young rider will slide himself down into the sprinter's lane. Hard to resist. Look at this. Fowler making a nice move here. Looks like Ben Jurassic going to try to match the speed and move up with him. Pyle also responding pretty well here as it's going to be Fowler leading out of the turn, and Jurassic will overtake him quickly. Jurassic for the first 5, Fowler for 3, Pyle for 2, and Spranger will still get a point in it. It'll be worth 1. Whenever I announce points, it's not official. I'm doing my best to read what I see and try to announce it for everybody. So the leader of the race is Ben Jurassic with 5. Will Fowler's in second with 3. JC Piles in third with 2. And Joe Spranger's got 1, good for 4th. Spranger is feeling like he's got a bit of an opportunity here. Maybe to make a bit of space between him and the chasing group. So we've got our leader alone off the front is Joe Spranger, a chase of 3. That whole group over there in turn 3, all of the riders with points currently. Sounds like the officials have the same points as I do, so those match now. With the bell ringing, it's another sprint coming up. So this group of 4 has now said, we're going to take all the points. We are racing against each other for the first 4 positions. The rest of the field either has to catch or they're not getting points, and instead they're all racing for 5th as they're going to come in with 0 points coming into the end of the race. That's just a prediction based on where we are on the track right now. Maybe the way those other 4 are racing against each other, they might have a chance to get back up there. Notice that our juniors field is all of our junior riders combined together. So there's several different age groups in here, and age has a big deal in terms of our riders' abilities for distance and speed. So not a totally equal playing field for these young riders. So we've already started to see them break it apart. Coming into this points lap, Spranger looking to get 5 this time. Whoa! 5 for Spranger, 3 for Jurassic, 2 for Pyle, 1 for Fowler. Unofficially, I have Ben Jurassic as the leader with 8 now, and second is Joe Spranger with 6. A tie for third between Fowler and Pyle. They both have 4 points. Everybody else is looking for their first. Coming up next, our combined field for their win and out. The women and the Cat 3 men were coming up next for a 12-lap win and out. Our lap card's still showing 5 to go for the field, who's coming into turns 3 and 4. We do have a bit of an effort here being put out by our leaders, maybe looking to catch. They're getting awfully close to the back end of the field. If they do so, they actually are granted a bonus 20 points for lapping the field. Bell's ringing for the leaders. Bell's ringing for the leaders. 4 to go for Jurassic and Spranger at the front of the race. And they are the riders with the 2 most points. If they catch in this sprint, we'll update it soon. Points next lap for Fowler and Pyle as well. Our leaders have taken the lap here, and in they come for their points, trying to kick up more on the sprint. Understood. Our leaders are still coming through turns 3 and 4, looking for points, as it's now Spranger and Jurassic with plus 20. Nothing out of the sprint for the catch. And that means Fowler will find 5. Whoop! Or maybe not. 5 maybe, I think, on the outside for Pyle. 3 for Fowler. The leader of the race caught the field mid-sprint. They got their 20 points and weren't able to get any more. Here comes our rider for 2 as Spranger's still off the front from the rest of the riders. He'll find 2, plus the 20 he got previously, and 1 for Jurassic. Unofficially leading the race still is Ben Jurassic after picking up the plus 20. He's now sitting at a total of 29 with Joe Spranger at 28. Those are our top 2 points getters so far. Back in the field, back behind them still, as they're trying to catch up to the field, actually, I should say, is our 3rd and 4th place riders. JC Pyle sitting with 9, and Will Fowler's got 7. That's 3rd and 4th unofficially. The main field is the group now coming out of turn 4. They've been caught by 2 of the leaders. Here comes JC to try to catch back on. He should be getting the plus 20. Getting the 1 to go is this field. 1 to go. Fowler at the front, catching back on. He's about to be into the middle of this sprint and get the plus 20. Our new leaders are now here on the home straight, as it's going to be Spranger and Jurassic. All these catches mid-sprint do not make for a clean race. So it'll be 2 points going for Pyle and 1 point going out for Caleb. The leaders on this lap are still in turns 3 and 4. The leaders of this race. This is the win right here. Who can finish this sprint will win the race. Here they come. It's going to be Spranger and Jurassic. Who will get it? Whoa! Jurassic will find it after lapping the field. Spranger and Jurassic with an amazing effort. Yeah, it gets confusing once the lead starts changing like that, especially mid-sprint. The end result of it all, the 2 riders at first catch, Spranger and Jurassic going at it, and Jurassic will get the final sprint. That's enough with the double points value to secure the win over Spranger. And as our riders will make their way off on the back straight, our next group can come on up to the rail. Thank you. Our next group, our combined field to the rail, please, for the win and out. All right, so the 12-lap win and out. Just remember, with the win and out, it's always good to try to get the earlier sprints. The win and out means the sooner you get a win, the better placing you get. This is going to be run much like the 4x3 we just saw. There will be 4 bells every 3 laps, but instead of getting points to the leader on the lap, the first rider across the line will get their placing and will exit the race. So if you win the first sprint at the 9 to go mark, there'll be a bell at 10 to go. That rider will get first place and will exit the track, get out early and get a nice rest before their final event tonight. If you win after the bell rings at 7 to go on the 6 to go lap, you are in second place and you will exit. That continues 2 more times so that the final sprint is at 1 to go. There's a bell and we'll discover who's in 4th and all those minor positions that follow. This is the 12 lap win and out for the combined men, women, and there are some juniors in there too, just about ready to get their whistle. And there's a signal that we can get this thing started. Bell at 10 to go. Bell at 10. I enjoy spectating these races because I always start to try to play it out in my mind before we see the sprint. Who wants to take the risk to go for first? Sometimes I see riders even go for first. They don't make it. They have to bail back out, recover in the group, and then go again for maybe 3rd or 4th, and they're able to find it. But that is hard to do. When you put in a big effort to try to win the race and don't get it, you just got to move past it, try to recover, and get back in the field and get ready for another sprint as they come pretty fast in the win and out. As they're coming through this time, it'll already read 11 to go, and the riders in the group are already starting to estimate who's going to try to go for first, who's going to make a big jump for it. Am I going to be in that group? Is that what I'm going to go for? Am I going to hold it on a little bit longer, maybe go for one of the lower positions and hope I'm less challenged? And then how many other people are thinking that in the field? I don't know. These things are kind of the interesting dynamics that this set of rules, I should say, kind of put on the riders. They have to kind of consider the dynamics of the field they're in and the capabilities they bring into it. Riding high here above the blue line and waiting for the sound of the bell, which will be getting this lap. That'll signify the sprint for first. This field now taking their time and setting themselves up as it looks like the front of the field being set currently by Carson Hedrick, though he's riding really high, leaving room for someone else to take it. And there's the bell. Up from the rail, Hyun Lee will start to accelerate. Thinks he might have the jump for a 400-meter finish. Hedrick wants to challenge. The riders behind him have to decide if this is an effort they want to match or not. A couple riders willing to do it. Hyun Lee had a good snap, but not enough to get rid of Hedrick, who's also on the move. Coming through turns 3 and 4, it'll be Carson Hedrick coming out of the field and now leading things out with a great effort on the home straight, looking like it might be Hedrick to close it out. So Hedrick will make his way off the track when he feels like it's safe to do so. The rest of the field is still in it, and the next time we hear a bell will be at 7 to go. Our group's still well together here at this point. Okay, got it. And there's our bell. This is now for second place. Next time, second place will be found at the line. Kevin Stone O'Brien will accelerate enough to bring himself up to the front, and now is the lead out on this first bank on the track. Bryn Ward right behind him. Apex Racing, our featured group tonight, starting to get in a position also. It looks like it might be David Branson coming out of the group trying to find room. Aiden McClinton also sprinting into this thing. McClinton with a huge effort over the top. Bike lengths in front of the rest of the field as McClinton makes a huge move and is clearing away along the rail. That's warnings to 324. That's Dave Branson, and 306, Kevin Stone O'Brien, for failure to hold their line in the sprint. Again, those riders are Branson and Stone O'Brien. That's a warning for not holding your line during the sprint. Failure to hold the line during the sprint, that's an official warning. They're first. In the case of the warning system, you have two before there's an issue here. Coming into this will be another bell. This is now for third. We got Branson chasing down to juniors. Kaiser leading it out right now. The Laser leading things with the blue helmet. He's looking over his left-hand shoulder, just trying to see if there's anybody else going to challenge him. This is going to be a two-up sprint. Kaiser versus Branson, though, like they're waiting. They're inviting trouble here as our leader's jersey for the women's field has launched her own attack, Annette Williams. The by 13 leaders jersey for the women's field is trying to close in on this. She's got that bright colored jersey a couple bike lengths back. She's starting to realize not enough time to get up there. Henry versus Branson. He's already shaving on his head. Henry. Kaiser, the junior, finds the third place finish. All that's left to do now is the final sprint where we'll decide fourth and all the rest of the positions. That's coming up here in a couple of laps. On deck is the Cat 1-2 men for their win and out. All right, let's pull off the mic for just a second there. It sounds like Apex Racing still found the front. Our feature group tonight, fourth place in the race with Branson, as the rest of our competitors making their way off the track. Track looks good. Let's bring up our next field to the rail, please. Cat 1-2 men for the 12-lap win and out. This will be a fast one. Only 12 laps on the track for our Cat 1-2 men. For some of you that might be new here around the track, I get it. Sometimes it's, you don't want to be the noisy one or the weird one. But I'll tell you what, these local athletes are showing up here. We're going to be, in a few weeks from now, we're going to be hosting racers from all across the country. They show up here because we have really good fans and large numbers of people that show up. And the best part about it is hearing the cheers, the hoots and the hollers, and all the support the riders get as they go by. If you see something cool, if you see some speed out there, don't forget, put your hands together and make lots of noise for the athletes. It'll help them go faster. It'll keep the environment fun. And we really pride ourselves on the best spectators in the sport here at the Velodrome. So try it out on this next race. If you see something exciting, I expect some speed on this short and exciting win and out for this large field. Off we go. This is the neutral. Sound of the whistle will confirm we're ready to start the race. Again, this is going to be a win and out. So now the risk is even bigger. Which sprint are you going to set up for? The first sprint is only a few laps out. And I'm just looking at this field, and I see a lot of fast finishers. It's going to be potentially very contested. Maybe you time it later, maybe not. Do what you think you got to do. I'm interested to see how the field plays it. If you're not sure to watch, certainly not necessarily his strongest suit. We saw it last week in the points race. Steve Wilson's has really got a motor on him for the long-distance events. He'll take the advantage to go off the front, but maybe he'll find his moment tonight, our leader's jersey. Right after a sprint, he'll follow an attack and just roll that momentum. That might be one way to win a position in this race, maybe get second or third. I'm also looking at, again, some of those bunch finishers that have some fast speed. We saw Karlberg's incredible turn of speed during the crawl as well as earlier in their first race. So lots of riders can win in different ways. Only 2 laps away for the bell. Dave Chipchase for Liquid Velo in the black and green will be the rider to start the pace-off, followed by Chris Baker for corner 4. Riders taking their turns early on, and there is no waiting in this short of a race, especially for this field. They know they've got the endurance to carry some serious speed here early on, and the energy is already building up at the front of this field. Nick Martinez, Pi Broadmark finds himself at the front with that red frame. 11 to go. Next time around, the bell's ringing for first. Can you believe it? So now, here's the thing, is if you think you got the finishing speed, you get off the front, you're like, man, I can't go too far back in this field. It's too big. You got to stay near the front if you're going to be in on this sprint. In fact, a couple of riders are already feeling a little bit uncomfortable at where they were. They're just going to reposition themselves. Here he goes. Look at this move. Brandon Russell. He's just going to go off the front. Don't even need the sound of the bell. Let's get this thing going. It's 1 to go. Brandon Russell's trying to go for it. Catching the field asleep. Karlberg forced to respond, and guess who's on his wheel as Richter's going to try to respond to. Andy Baker leading out the field, but now it's just look at down turn 2. Russell's being chased down by the fast finishing couple of Karlberg and Richter. Can Karlberg just drive it for 300 meters here and hold off on Dave Richter? He's going to come up and out of the sprinter's lane. He's trying to lead this thing out, and it's still Richter trying to come around the back wheel. It's Karlberg and Richter coming out of the turn. On the home straight, Karlberg's got the muscle to hold on. Oh, man. Richter was really trying to light him up there, had the wheel, knew where he needed to be. Karlberg with enough power, the pure power to just hold off. Russell will abandon the mission. It's now Richter out on his own. He's been here before. There's not a ton of laps between these sprints. He might be able to hold on here for a guaranteed second. He has to do a little bit of work to guarantee it as the field is still kind of moving along here. What will he do? Seeing 8 to go. Bell next time for Richter. It's still Richter off the front, a big gap between them, but look at the leader's jersey doing all this work because he knows the race is getting away from him if he's not careful. He wants to be in on these next sprints. Richter coming in for the bell lap. Next time is going to be for second place. Lee Thurgood, 10-speed hero, not happy with where Richter's currently at. Another rider with plenty of motor to him. He's going to start to work it here. Is Lee Thurgood, the rider in black, is doing some work. Riders that can see what's going on in front of them are going to try to make the move themselves. This is for second place. Here they come out of the turn. Richter's trying to hold on. Here comes Kenny Williams. Baker. Richter. Can he get it? Oh! Oh! I think he did. On the inside. Oh, Kenny Williams was flying in with some serious speed. Waiting on a confirmation, but I do believe. And there it is. It will go to the inside. Dave Richter, the official winner on the sprint. Wow. Give him another half second, and that would have flipped the other way. Maybe less than that. Phenomenal. 5 to go. Next time we'll hear a bell. That's for third. Our group's all together again here. Coming across the finish line. So there's our main pack. Chris Baker finds himself at the front. Dave Chipchase right with them. It looks like Pekka Jaska in the black with that white helmet. The leader's jersey sneaking in here too. So trying to beat the bell. Some of our riders getting out ahead of the rest of the field now. Bell's ringing now. This for Our third place finish on the next lap. Nolan Adams bringing with him a few chasers that are not wanting to let this thing get away. It's now the leader's jersey, positioning himself perfectly. He's got a second effort here, and it's a lot. He's just going to come flying out of the field. This is for third place. Wilson's nicely timed. Comes blowing out of turn 4. Nobody able to match the speed. Impressive effort from our athlete here. One more sprint left to go. That's going to be for fourth in the rest. So no more riders going to be coming out early. Just one sprint left for the whole field here. Fourth place in the rest. Coming up next, we've got a short break. We're going to take a little bit of time away from the action as we're going to let some of our Cat 1-2 riders change up their jerseys and join in on the fun for a stairs race where they're going to be combining with juniors on 2 rider teams in the stairs race. That's coming up after a break. 1-2 men still on the track here for 2 more laps. Next time is a bell. Chris Baker trying to catch folks sleeping. Look, here he goes. We think of him a bit of as a time trialist. He's got that constant speed. That's the kind of ride he likes. So he's going to try to get out there just ahead of the bell at about 800 meters left. Lee Thurgood, similarly styled and matched in terms of the way he likes to ride the track. He's going to try to match that speed, get away from the field, try to minimize his competitors here. 1 to go. Our last lap. Baker smiling, coming across the line. As Chris Baker underneath the Greg Cycle sign with Lee Thurgood on his wheel. Feeling something trying to catch him down here. Looks like I see the black of potentially 10-speed hero team. That's going to be Christian Miller trying to come up to the front. Big sprint here to catch up over Chris Baker as Miller and Liquid Velo challenging. It looks like Liquid Velo going to be coming out of the group to find it. The rider in the black and green, I say, will get the 4th place is rider John Bowie. Nicely done. And our riders will exit as the race is over. That's right, I did say there was a short break here. Our Cat 1-2 riders are going to come in off the warm-up circle. They're going to get jerseyed up to ride with the stairs race. We'll get started here again soon. In the meantime, come on over to the Beverage Garden, join the fun bunch. They're having a good time. Our beverage sponsors once again for 2019, Mac and Jack's Brewery, OS Winery, and Locust Ciders providing our beverages tonight. That's right, they are donations. All the proceeds in that beverage garden go right back into our 501c3 and help support racing, making racing better here in the Pacific Northwest. Please come join us with Valid ID. You too can have some fun with our group over there. Behind the grandstands, we still have Jessica's Unique Bites. Good time to go put in your order for some jalapeno poppers, a good evening treat. Maybe a jalapeno bacon burger, something with a little heat, a little bit of crunch. Come over to the food truck and try it yourself. You will be wonderfully treated to some great food out of Jessica's Unique Bites. They're here joining us once again, as they regularly do. Couple more minutes left in our break. I'm going to take a break myself off the microphone. We'll be back with you really shortly as we're going to allow our stairs race teams to get themselves coordinated, and we'll bring them out here for this fun event where we get to highlight our junior racers. All right, we're just about ready to get this thing started. The stairs race is a bit of a novelty race by definition. It's a fun race where we bring out our elite riders to serve as a sort of pacer for the young riders. So they're going to put on the same jersey. The pacers, as the elite riders, will keep their combo with them. Their young rider will stick to their wheel. At the end, the race positions are determined by how the juniors finish. So they're going to want to sprint to close this thing out, and they'll be racing at the end of it. The elites will do the work on the first 10 laps to make sure everybody's still all together and positioning correctly. The elites can put in efforts, too, of course, to try to position their kids, but the kids got to stay with them, as their finishing positions are the ones that matter. Our stairs race is just about ready to start. We've got them up on the rail here, and this will be a 10-lap event. You can see who's paired with who based on their fun jerseys that they've picked up. And off they go. You can already see the teams. This is a neutral still, so we'll get them started out turn 4. The pairs are going to stay together. That's to their advantage. If the elite rider gets away from their kid, they're going to lose the benefit of the draft from the elite rider. Once they get to that final lap, though, I mean, essentially the juniors are the ones to set it, because the first junior front wheel to cross the finish line will be the winning team. So they're teaming up here to win as a group. And off they go. The whistle sounds. 10 to go. Oh man, Liquid Velo. Gonna get things started. Looks like the pairing of Chip Chase and Jurassic gonna start things off. You can see the pack, a little bit of hesitation to get up to our leader. Thinking they have an endurance advantage over the rest of the juniors, especially if he's got a wheel to follow. The stairs race off to a pretty quick start here. Chip Chase seeing 9 to go, and he's got a big gap starting to open up. It's Team Blue with Andy Baker and Joe Spranger trying to close in. On the back straight, our leaders about halfway up from the trail end of the pack. Seeing 8 to go, our leaders will be, that's Liquid Velo, black and green. Joe working with Baker to try to catch back on. The spin is on here. Looks like Team Blue might put themselves in position here, as one team getting caught is Team Pink. Team black and green here, the Liquid Velo squad still at the front. Our leader seeing 7 to go. Here you can see our chasing group of 2 teams also sitting at 7 to go, trying to get back up there.
Okay, this is epic.
So you can still see the jerseys number 6 and number 11. Those two teams, the mostly yellow squad, just under Greg Cycle, are in the chase. They're our second group on the track. The leaders, Liquid Velo, the black and green, and then the blue team are trying to set that front edge and stay away from the chasing group. And they're seeing 5 to go, halfway through the race. Four to go. It's the Team Noon is right on the wheel of Liquid Velo as the blue squad, sponsored by Team Noon, sponsored by our great friends there at Noon, getting right on the wheel. It's Pyatt Broadmark stepping up to support jersey number 6. The yellow team is the next closest. As riders are getting caught by the lead group of the green and blue, those two teams, they are getting down a lap, and they're no longer on the lap of the leaders. So the most important thing is where are our lead groups in the overall competition. At 3 to go, it's still Liquid Velo and Team Noon, the blue team, leading it out. 3 to go. Our juniors doing a lot of good work here just to hold on to the pace. You can just see one of the funner things to do during the stairs race is to watch the gearing difference between the elite and the juniors. You'll see the number of revolutions needed for the older riders versus the younger. Lake Hills Montessori in the white and green. Paragon Fitness in the pink, working together there. Here comes our leaders now to the line, seeing 2 to go. Remember, it's the juniors that have to race each other, so we're watching now in those lead groups. Jurassic versus Spranger. We've had that matchup before. Pyatt Broadmark's trying to lead JC Pyle back into it. The yellow sponsored jersey. Chamois Butter and DBC Photo working together on the back straight, also trying to stay in this race. Now on the home straight with 1 to go. Liquid Velo and Noon going head to head. It's 1 to go. Riders that are caught are on the same lap. The bell's ringing for 1 to go as riders come across the line. It's 1 to go for all the teams crossing the line now. We look to the back straight to watch for the juniors and how they're going to race this thing. Jurassic's still kind of on the wheel of Chip Chase. Chip Chase is trying to do the work to keep him up against Spranger. Baker trying to roll away with it. It's still now Spranger and Jurassic side by side. There's not a lot of room to maneuver. Can Spranger accelerate, or Jurassic's going to find enough room? It looks like Spranger might find it. Spranger over the top will take the stairs race. Team Noon barely over Velo. Here we go. A couple more teams coming in. The third place finish, it looks like, will be JC Pyle with the Pyatt Broadmark matchup. Another Pyatt Broadmark team of Hune and Logan Lee. They're wearing the actual jersey. They're excited about that. Here comes our Paragon Fitness team, the pink. Whoa, Chamois Butter flying in fast. Edge and Spoke team flying in there as well. Everybody doing a great job in our fun stairs race and bringing out the colorful jerseys of the Masson jerseys we got in this past year. You can hear some of our great sponsors in our community stepping up to help support those jerseys and our teams here in 2019. Combined women's and men 3 field to the rail, please. The women and Cat 3 men combined group is coming up to the rail for their points race. On deck is the Cat 1-2 men. And amazingly, that will actually be our last race of the night. A quick evening when we combine some fields. So we're getting down to it. A couple races left. On the track right now, our combined field for their points race. The points race is a little bit different than any of the races we've done tonight, but one of our favorite closers. And it's also important to note, it's worth double in the Omnium for our fields that are in contention. So the feature race of the night, always fun to keep track of. The points race is done like our juniors did earlier, 4x3. This one is a 5x5. So the leader, a 4x5. It appears to be, because we're using the women's distances, which means there are 4 sprints every 5 laps, with the leaders of the lap getting 5, 3, 2, and 1 on those sprints. The last sprint worth double at 10, 6, 4, and 2. We will keep track of those points throughout the race, and the highest point getter will be the winner. Any ties broken on the final sprint. The sound of the whistle. Let's get this thing going. At 20 to go, it's Bryn Ward, Aiden McClinton, Annette Williams all coming up to the front of this group at the beginning. $19 to go. In a 4x5, the first bell's at 16 with points at 15 to go. Hedrick at the front. And the field swinging up a little high as now it'll be Edwards taking a bit of a solo effort. As Stone O'Brien continues to carry his momentum forward, the rest of the pack will start to respond now to Edwards' move. 18 to go, with Stone O'Brien leading the group. And Edwards will swing up out of the way and bring herself back into the fold. Next lap will be 17 to go. Still no bell. So a couple laps to separate each of these sprints. We like the points race for a couple reasons. One of the things that you'll see in this race is a variety of styles can win depending on how they play it. There's a need to be able to sprint often and frequently. There's a need for recovery because of all those sprints. An endurance base is needed because of the distance of the race is a little longer than our other events. So you need a good variety. And then on top of that, you need the brains, you need the awareness too, because you got to keep track of your points. You got to decide when it's time to go. A lot of good factors involved when it comes to racing out here in a points race. So we like to watch it. We like to race it pretty much every week if it's one of our standard programs. This now coming into the bell lap, so this is kind of that setup for the next big sprint. Edwards finds herself once again at the front. It's Bryn Ward that'll take that spot from her as they'll continue to rotate around and wait to see who wants to actually lead this thing. Aiden McClinton will be the first to hear the bell coming out of the turn. It's points next lap. Points next lap for the field. McClinton in the white and red is the leader on the lap currently. He's got Stone O'Brien on his right-hand side. For Agencia Racing, it looks like Kaiser in the blue helmet's in a pretty good position. A couple of juniors are trying to move into the spot to sprint this thing. A little bit of room over the top. Now Hedrick also finding a little bit of room. He's actually able to weave in and out. McClinton and Hedrick, it looks like Hedrick's got speed for it. McClinton will find the second place. Then it'll be Stone O'Brien. And it looks like our leader's jersey for the women's field, Annette Williams, will get one. So the unofficial race leader will be Carson Hedrick with 5. 3 points to Aiden McClinton in second place. Kevin Stone O'Brien is sitting in third with 2, and Annette Williams will be in fourth with 1. Those are our leaders after one sprint. Plenty more to still sort out as we have 3 sprints ahead of us. If you find yourself enjoying this at all, find that this is a fun evening, a Friday night out here at the park, we would encourage you to come check us out again. We race every Friday as long as the weather is permitting. If you want to know other events that are going on or want to know more about our classes, opportunities to volunteer, to donate, to be a part of the Marymore Velodrome Association, whether you're on the outside or you're on the inside, literally racing and participating in what's going on in front of you, you can go check out our website, or you can even have a conversation with one of us. We'd be happy to talk to you and give you some more information. Come on over to the grandstands area. You can see I'm up here on the announcing deck. You can say hi and ask any questions you might have. Or feel free to send us an email. You can find our contacts online. Check out our website, velodrome.org, or our Facebook page. You can search for the Jerry Baker Memorial Velodrome Fan Zone. Give us a thumbs up and maybe give us a comment or some feedback there. We'd appreciate it. As always, our thanks to our partners at King County Parks, and the Marymore Park has been a great host of racing here since 1975 when we first built the organization and this great velodrome, once known as the Marymore Velodrome, renamed in remembrance of Jerry Baker and his passing a number of years ago. We've been enjoying some great years of racing here in recent years under our rebranding and our new name, but relatively uninterrupted since 1975 and entirely operated and organized by the Marymore Velodrome Association, the 501c3 that does all the work behind the scenes to make this stuff happen, as well as the donations and support of our sponsors and, of course, our racing and spectating community. Bell is ringing. Time for another sprint. Our leaders are in this pack. All 4 riders with points are still in it at 11 to go. Carl Pratis down there in the sprinter's lane for Jerry Baker Jr.'s team will now serve as the lead edge of this sprint with Aiden McClinton on his right-hand side and Hyun Lee slotted in behind him. Here comes our race leader trying to get another 5 points is going to be Hedrick with a nice attack here through the backside of the track, and it's going to be Henry Kaiser, the laser, trying to shoot off his own attack here, maybe find some speed around the top. Henry, Hedrick, I think, was calculating that one. He'll get 5, Kaiser 3, McClinton 2, and I think Annette 1. Next sprint at 6 to go. We'll see 9 as they come through this one. That'll put our unofficial leader still Carson Hedrick with 10. Aiden McClinton sitting in second with 5. It's Henry Kaiser now in third with 3. 2 riders with 2 apiece is Stone O'Brien and Annette Williams. They are tied for 4th. Confirmed as matching our officials' numbers in our current standings. So race leader Carson Hedrick is the rider in the all-gray kit. He's several bikes back in the group, kind of right along the blue line. His number is 319. The current race leader, again, with 10 points. Hedrick, mid-pack right now. The next closest rider challenging him is McClinton in the white and red, 323. They just saw 7 to go. The next lap will be another bell. That's 2 sprints remaining. This will be the penultimate one. The final sprint, of course, always important to keep track of. It's worth double. And none of the riders have really built up a huge lead yet. We do have the rider who's won 2 in a row. He's got the most comfortable lead, sitting at 10. The next closest rider with 5. So it's a bit of a buffer, if he can pick up another one especially. Everyone else is still very much trying to decide who's going to win the race or who's going to find second at the least. Coming through these turns, definitely hesitating, waiting for this penultimate sprint. Deciding who's going to move up again here in the overall standings at 6 to go. Points next time, and a lot of hesitation as we cross the line. Trying to delay this for a shorter effort. A high-speed sprint down the back straight is all we need. Isaac Drasik, the rider, down in that sprinter's lane, looking low, trying to just be sneaky. Keeps looking for somebody to move, and nobody's going. And as soon as he sees an attack, he'll try to match it, as that's another sprint from Hedrick. He's won 2 already, looking like he might be on pace for a third one, as it's going to be hard to match that sprint of Hedrick's. It's going to be Jurassic coming out of the turn in second wheel right now. Hedrick, Jurassic, Darlene. Ooh, Darlene for 3. Jurassic 2. Kaiser, I believe, will get the 1. My unofficial points have Carson Hedrick still as our leader with 15. Pretty assured of that. In second place is still McClinton with 5. After that, I got third place to Henry Kaiser with 4. Kelly Darlene's now got 3. That's good for fourth, as the current standings are. Then we got 3 riders tied for 5th. 2 points apiece is Williams, Stone O'Brien, and Isaac Jurassic. Those points totals are confirmed by the officials and match what they got. So a close race right now, really for second. As the first place is ridden away pretty far. He's got 15. After that, it's 5, 4, 3, and 3 riders with 2. So the ride is definitely on right now for second place. The last sprint worth double. At 3 to go, a couple more laps to set this thing up. On deck will be our Cat 1-2 men for their points race. It'll be the last race of the night. They're coming up here pretty soon. Starting to roll things up here a little bit as a mild bit of movement at the front. Looks like Pratis doing some work there, swinging up, and now they're at the blue line. Branson, McClinton all leading things out. Bryn Ward for single malt velo. Off she'll go. Trying her own attack now as the group is taking just a moment to catch their breath. Just long enough for her to want to go ahead and push down on those pedals and go out there herself. McClinton and Williams matching pace. Ward still on the front. This is coming into the bell lap now, so she's trying to set something up for herself. The group has responded pretty well. Everybody's all lined up. Here comes our 1 to go moment. Who might find second place here? The lead might have already been determined. He's going to try and find more points for sure, but at 1 to go, this move by McClinton is very big for him. This might secure the second place finish. It's now McClinton off the front with Williams chasing down the leader's jersey in the women's field, trying to hold on to that jersey for another week. McClinton, Williams, look at this. Williams starting to find a little bit of downhill speed herself. Can she get up there to McClinton? It's McClinton still at the front. Williams accelerating. Hyun Lee trying to catch back on. It's Williams still accelerating up to McClinton. The leader's jersey, McClinton. Leader's jersey. She sits up a little bit. McClinton will find it for 10. 6 points will go the way of Williams. 4 more for Kaiser. I think that's good enough for third place for the junior. And then Hyun Lee will find 2. That'll put him up into the top 5, 6, 7 places. All right. Picking up 10 for McClinton, and Carson not picking up any. I think he's going to pick up enough points for McClinton to get himself into a tiebreaker with Hedrick, 15 points apiece. So unofficially, McClinton wins the race. Carson, Hedrick in second. Cat 1-2 men to the rail, please. And there's a whistle for the neutral. Off we go for a 6x5, the Cat 1-2 men. And I shouldn't forget Taylor Crane in there as well, competing in the field. So one of our local women competitors joining in on the speed. This is a 30-lap points race with 6 sprints. 1 sprint every 5 laps. Interesting to see how the group will take this one. Again, more riders means there's more ways for different things to occur. I'm watching that leader's jersey. I'm not trying to give away too much here, but we did see a very dominant race from him in these longer races last weekend. The reason why he's wearing that leader's jersey is the efforts he did off the front. We'll see what happens here tonight in the 6x5, and if riders might try to combat his speed on the longer distance efforts, if somebody else might rise to the challenge, or if it's just too much of a thing to stop. It was the leader's jersey really putting on a bit of a clinic last week in this race. Let's see what happens with Baker off the front. That's going to be Andy Baker to start things off. Riding for Pyatt Broadmark Racing. Another one of our great sponsors we'd like to thank for 2019, Pyatt Broadmark Management, LLC. Our thanks to Greg Cycles as well. Since 1932, serving our community with great customer service and fantastic prices on cycling gear. You can go to one of their 3 locations. Of course, we got the one closest to us here in Bellevue that you can check out. Our thanks to our beverage sponsors one more time is Locust Ciders out of Woodinville, Washington. We've got Mac and Jack's Brewery just down the road and OS Winery all setting up big again this year. Our thanks to Ace Maple Leaf, once again for stepping up and supporting us this year. John Duggan, cycling attorney. Better Builders for their support in 2019 and actually helping us get our new table/desk up here for the outdoor setup that we've got. So our thanks to Better Builders for the kind of work that they do. They do incredible woodworking, especially in the interiors that I've seen posted. You need to check them out. Again, thanks to Better Builders. You can check out their website, betterbuilders.com. Our thanks to DBC Photography. DBCphoto.com is here tonight taking pictures of our racers in practically every week. Dennis is a local aficionado of the camera. You can find his artistic work and all of the things he takes throughout his fun career here at the track and at other events that he goes in. You can check those online at dbcphoto.com. Pick out your favorite, purchase one for yourself, and share around the world. Thanks to Kreitler Rollers again for their sponsorship. Build Performance Center for supporting the Velodrome in 2019. Caporisano again for stepping up big and supporting us in 2019. The physical therapy, Caporisano. Waterman Rhinoplasty also sponsoring us in 2019. Our thanks to Eric Waterman and his company for supporting the track this year. And that's the bell. Our first sprint underway. A 6x5. Let's see who's going to take the early lead in the points race. Hoggins Berman's got a blue and dark jersey on at the front as Ludo Max, but the leader's jersey is feeling ready. This is his race, and it's worth a lot of points in the Omnium. This is really a lot of value on the journey to hold on to the leader's jersey. He's got with him some fast finishers, though. They love this top speed. It's going to be Wilson's coming out of the turn. Christian Miller wants to take an early sprint. It's going to be Miller, Baker, Wilson's, and I think Bowie unofficially picking up the first sprint. Speedy first sprint. We're going to see plenty more of them. There's 5 left. Our thanks again to our feature group tonight. It's Apex Racing showing up. I see David Branson's out there hanging out. We know Apex Racing is a good partner of cyclists here in the Pacific Northwest, especially for their efforts at hosting the 26th edition of the Ballot Criterium. The Ballot Crit is presented by Carter Volkswagen. The annual tradition coming up next weekend. So as I called it, is the way they came across the line. Our leader right now is Miller with 5, Baker with 3 in second. Third place is Steve Wilson's with 2. John Bowie, the rider for Liquid Velo in black and green, has got 1. Christian Miller was in that all-black kit. He's riding for 10 Speed Hero, the early race leader. He's sitting in the pack looking at a bit of a break here as some riders are getting away from him. Lee Thurgood is just on this solo effort right now. That's bib number 27, also of 10 Speed Hero, putting in this nice effort for himself as it looks like Chip Chase for Liquid Velo and Corner 4 Racing's Chris Baker are trying to chase him down. That's right, there's 2 Bakers out there. We got Chris Baker in the maroon-colored kit. He's off the front right now. For Piet Broadmark is Andy Baker. He's back in the field, and he actually has some points, so he's hoping to maybe get back up here and stay in contention. Right now, though, the bell's ringing for Lee Thurgood. A nice effort here from 10 Speed Hero, and he's on pace to find 5. Lee Thurgood riding it smooth. Chip Chase digging deep, trying to get the effort to get back up to him here on the track. Bowie's looking around at this big pack right behind him, wondering if anybody's going to go try to chase this thing down. As he'll actually swing up to the right and allow some other riders to move into position. The front of the race is still Thurgood, the rider in all black, over in turns 3 and 4. About 60 meters behind him or so, we've got the chase of 2, and then the pack is coming just into turn 3 now. Here's Thurgood for 5. Looking strong here early in this race, but not enough to hold on for another effort. Thurgood for 5, Chip Chase 3, Chris Baker 2, and 1, I think, to number 1, Kenny Williams unofficially. Chris Baker, Dave Chip Chase have tried to team up a little bit here to pressure the field. They can identify their riding style from a mile away, or I guess from 200 meters away, as they can see that their attempt to get away from them is dangerous to their well-being in this race. They're going to try to close it down quickly. So it was Kenny Williams getting that 1 point, so he does have a point now in the race. Confirming that bit, we've got a bunch of ties across the field. Thurgood and Miller tied for first with 5. Andy Baker and Dave Chip Chase in second with 3 points apiece, in third. Tied for 5th is Wilson's and Chris Baker with 2 points apiece. John Bowie and Kenny Williams both have 1. So again, 5 different riders getting points. 4 different riders getting points in each of those sprints means we now have a bunch of ties after 2 sprints. 17 to go, Bell's next lap. Mike Robson in the dark kit there, soaring across the finish line. As soon as riders sweep up, the Rocket's going to go ahead and make a move of his own. Fount Cycling Guild moving fast here ahead of the Bell. Wanted to put in a big effort. He keeps looking for a response. There's not a lot yet. Richter going for it. Trying to find 5. He's got Thurgood behind him, but still a lot of distance for Richter. He's got to be feeling good about this effort he's putting on here right now. Thurgood leading out the pack. Points still up for grabs out of this group sprint. So Richter wants to be another one of the riders to find 5. He looks like he's well on pace to do so. 5 points for Richter. Here comes the sprint for 3. Wilson's in the leader's jersey. Piet Broadmark sending forth Carlberg, Baker, and then Wilson's. So this race is extraordinarily close after this many sprints. We're halfway through the race, and there's really no clear winner. There's hardly a clear placing in the top 5 right now, as there's several riders right on top of each other. Check this. I got 4 riders tied for first right now. Christian Miller, David Richter, Lee Thurgood, Andy Baker all have 5 points apiece. 4 riders tied for first. After that, in 5th, we've got 3 riders with 3. Steve Wilson's, Dave Chip Chase, and Andrew Carlberg. After that, I've got John Bowie and Kenny Williams still with 1. Also, Chris Baker sitting with 2 points in the midst. And that's why my totals aren't official. We do actually have one rider in the lead, is Andy Baker, sitting up there with 6. So Baker right now in the lead with 6. Behind him is 3 riders with 5. Christian Miller, Dave Richter, Lee Thurgood. They're all tied for second. My mistake there. Andy Baker is the lone leader with 6. This is at 12 to go. A couple more laps before more points. After 3 spins, the rider with the most number of points only has 6. So this has been shared well around the group here. A lot of different riders taking their turn at the front of the field. After Baker, it's Lee Thurgood, Dave Richter, and Christian Miller, all with 5. I've got Steve Wilson's, Dave Chipchase, and Andrew Carlberg with 3. Chris Baker with 2. John Bowie and Kenny Williams still with 1 point. Bell's ringing, 11 to go. Next time, we'll give some more points out. Who's going to start separating themselves from this field? A lot of work to do here if you're going to win the points race tonight. Our leader's jersey is certainly not out of the race as he has some points in this one, but he's pretty far out of this sprint. So we see him in the back half of the group. The front half is where all the points are going to be going out as Chris Baker leads it, and here comes Kenny Williams. This is bib number 1 in blue. Big acceleration. Bowie's on his wheel. Here comes Kenny Williams on the inside for 5. Bowie 3. Looks like Nolan Adams will get the 2, and I think that was Brandon Russell for 1. Currently, it's Andy Baker and Kenny Williams in a tie for the lead with 6 apiece and only 2 sprints left. This thing continues to stay close. So Kenny Williams, winning the last sprint, bumps himself right up into a tie for first with Andy Baker. So Center Cycles in the blue kit, the rider with the blue helmet near the front of the field at the blue line, now backing up a little bit, is in a tie with Andy Baker for Broadmark Capital, the rider in the black and yellow with the white helmet. That's bib number 1 versus bib 99. After that, I've got some riders with 5 apiece is Christian Miller, Dave Richter, and Lee Thurgood. They're all in a tie for third. Continuing on in some of the minor positions where our points are right now is Dave Chipchase with 3, Stephen Wilson's with 3, John Bowie with 3. Riders with 2 would be Nolan Adams, Chris Baker, and Andrew Carlberg, and then 1 point to Brandon Russell. That's how we have it. Bell's ringing for 6, and 1 correction to the last points is Bowie with 4 points. The rider from Liquid Velo with 4, not 3. Off the front now is Brett Walker trying to make a move of his own. Carlberg was ready, so he's trying to match speed and get himself ready for 5 more points of his own. Carlberg, one of the riders with some points, but he's not currently in the top 5. This could make a bit of difference for him if he could get up there. Brett Walker for Audi in the red. Looking for 5. Carlberg will cruise for 3. Andy Baker will get 2. Luna Max will pick up his first. A slight lead now coming out for Andy Baker, barely nudging out some of his competition by just a few points. Baker's got 8 points for the lead. Again, our leader of the race right now is Andy Baker with 8. After that, unofficially, I have Kenny Williams with 6, sitting in second. A couple more riders join the 5 points club. That's going to be Andrew Carlberg, Brett Walker, Christian Miller, Dave Richter, Lee Thurgood. After that with 4 is John Bowie. With 3, Stephen Wilsons and Dave Chipchase. With 2 is Chris Baker and Nolan Adams. With 1 is Brandon Russell and Ludo Max. I think we finally got on the same page. Those numbers match our officials right before we get to the final sprint. That's a good time to get things straight. Folks, we can't do this thing without your help. We thank our spectators tonight. All of our athletes are so thankful for you being here. I'm thankful for you being here, helping make racing exciting for all of us. Your financial support, your support of your voice, your cheering, your presence here, confirming the awesomeness that is Velodrome Racing. We thank you for it. We hope you come back again and enjoy some more great racing here at the Velodrome. Maybe consider signing up for a class, finding out more about us, heading to velodrome.org, giving us a thumbs up on one of our website or social media presences. We'd appreciate it. If I could right now, our bell ringer, our officials, our race night manager, everybody who's here helping make this happen, could we give them a round of applause and a big thank you for their work tonight making racing possible? We're really thankful for our team here. We've got a good one. This is now coming down to it, and this sprint will determine so much. Nobody has built up a cushion. The final sprint worth 10, and here we go. They're coming out of the turn. It's Chris Baker at the front, and the group's all together ready for this big sprint at 1 to go. Chris Baker leading it out. Kenny Williams, one of the big points getters. Here comes another troublemaker out of Mike Robson, who hasn't found points yet, but he's ready to go on this big one. He knows if he gets 10, he might just win it. Why not go for it here? Nobody's got more than 10 points. Why not try? Robson leading things out. It's Brandon Russell in the second wheel position. Right behind him is Kenny Williams in the all blue. Oh, man, he's been out of the sprints for a while. It's Christian Miller in the All Blacks in here, too. Here comes Baker, some of our leaders coming to around the corner. Russell, Williams, Russell. Oh, that's not Russell, that's Richter. What am I doing? Dave Richter will take the 10. Kenny Williams will take 6. Richter exploding out of that sprint, finding 10 more points. He comes out with 15 after that. That just might do it. Wow. Points race, it almost feels like a scratch by the time it's all over. Yeah. That is the official end of the race program for us tonight. I know it got over a little early because we did our little combined group, but what a fun night of racing, and I appreciate, again, everybody showing up tonight. We are still open for business for a while longer. We've got riders closing down shop. We got the beverage garden open. Our food truck's still serving. You are free to hang out here in the park with us as we do that. Grab one more drink, grab another bit of food, take home an extra bit of a late night snack with you if you don't want to cook something when you get home. Don't forget, Friday Night Racing here every week, 7 o'clock here at the track. You can put that on your calendar and bet on it. Just make sure to check in on the weather, as we don't race when it's raining, although in our current conditions, that looks like we're going to be good and clear for a bit. Thanks to our online viewers for checking in. We appreciate you as well for supporting the Velodrome. Please make sure to reshare and spread the word about our videos, our posts, and our live streams. Let folks know there's great racing happening here in the Pacific Northwest. And thanks to our athletes, our officials, and all those that made tonight happen one more time, to Apex Racing for their special sponsorship tonight. And looking forward to being at the Ballot Criterium, as I'll be announcing that event as well coming up next weekend. Looking forward to being there. Thank you all. We look forward to seeing you again here at the Jerry Baker Memorial Velodrome.